Thank you for joining us for our continuing coverage on Hurricane Ian here on 10 Tampa Bay. I'm Courtney Robinson. For the next 30 minutes, we'll keep you informed, prepared, and connected as we stream on all of our digital platforms, our website, Facebook, YouTube, and more. And first, new tonight, we want to show you what we are now seeing as far as devastation from Ian. All new images from above showing what is left below. This right here in Fort Myers, an area where storm surge, wind, and heavy rain destroyed homes, leaving people stranded, stuck, and tonight with little to nothing. And I want you to check out these before and after images. This is from Near Map. You saw the before, you see the after right here. Again, the aftermath of Ian, from what we saw before to then what we see after. You know, you saw marina areas wiped out, beachfront houses just leveled. And now, just into our newsroom tonight, we also have these images coming in from around Venice and Nokomis as well. So that first picture you recognize, as the Venice Theater right here. You see a plaza with the ceiling hanging down, a business, boarded up, but still the roof ripped off, and a tree down here as cars try to pass. This right here is from the North Nokomis jetty area. That was a convenience stand. And then, of course, you see the traffic right there, and just so much damage to so many homes, and of course leaving people just absolutely devastated as they work to try and clean up. There was a farmer who lost his barn, plenty of damage to neighbors that we are seeing in this right here, coming in from our viewer Debbie Barato, and we thank her for sending those images into us as well. And new tonight, 10 Tampa Bay's Carly Gomez is in Sarasota, where a compromised levee has improved. Carly, what do we know right now?
And we're here at the Emergency Operations Center here in Sarasota County. It's a multi-agency coordination center comprised of federal, state, as well as local officials here that are working diligently to get things done across most of the area. Looks like they're also getting lunch ready for everyone. They've been working so hard to get everything established here, but also take care of themselves as well. Now, they've been dealing with a lot of flooding in the area. We know so far that a berm was compromised early this morning in the Hidden River neighborhood. An alert was sent out around 3 a.m. and was only supposed to go out to about 300 people. Now, it did go out to about 348,000 people. Of course, that caused some concern. Now, that alert was meant for the east side of the Hidden River community, which is about 70 homes. Sarasota County and their emergency operations centers have been seeing neighborhood flooding like this, though, across the region. That includes areas of the southern portion of the county like Venice as well as Northport. The Sarasota Sheriff's Office was able to evacuate some folks today. Meanwhile, others did decide to stay behind. We do hear that that berm was supposedly built by locals about 60 years ago, was only temporary solution. And of course, with all of that rainwater that has been inundated in the area, the levee compromise is eventually going to happen because we're dealing with a lot of rushing water into those rivers. But we do hear things have improved. Some neighborhoods are starting to slowly improve, including that Hidden River community.
All right, Carly Gomez live for us tonight in Sarasota County at the Sarasota County EOC. And we stay in Sarasota County with an update for you right now on I-75. About 2 hours ago, we learned all lanes between exit 193 at Jacaranda Boulevard and exit 179 at Northport and Toledo Blade Boulevard back open. This is according to FDOT. FDOT closed I-75 in both directions on Friday night after the Myakka River rose, impacting the interstate and then threatening the safety of drivers. Again, right now, as of 4 o'clock, I-75 in both directions is open. And now we send it over to meteorologist Tyler Moore. And Tyler, really these rivers, and we're going to be talking about more of them, this is really what we're concerned about right now.
Yeah, there's several of them still overflowing their banks and causing major flooding in some areas. And really, this is going to be the last impact from Ian that is still going to linger for the next couple of days. So I do want to show you the Myakka River that we were just talking about right there. Here's the latest report coming in from that flood gauge right there. It is, in fact, a record crest, and it is just starting to crest right now. It's slowly going to start to come down, but I want to zoom in here. Look at the timing. I mean, this is still Sunday into Monday. It's still in major flood stage. It's not until the middle of the upcoming work week that we're actually going to see those waters drop below major flood level. And you can see the reason why that caused so many headaches is the Myakka River flows right underneath 75, and that's that crossover section right there that produced that flooding and that closure of 75. But like we mentioned, again, it is going to be looking a lot better. You can also see towards Arcadia, the Peace River looking very high the next couple of days, but slowly receding, Courtney, into the middle of next week.
All right, Tyler, thank you. And now tonight to Manatee County, where right now there are so many, especially in Myakka City, without water. 10 Tampa Bay reporter Sydney Persing is live in Myakka. And Sydney, what is being done to get them the water that they need?
Hey, you know, we tell folks in advance of a hurricane, right, they should have at least 3 days of water prepared. Well, I want you to think about this. We are now past the 3-day mark since folks in this area started to feel Ian's effects. Important to note, lots of folks here in Myakka City came to the community center today where county leaders handed out hundreds of bottles of water. But I'll tell you, the folks who came out here to get this water, it was not easy. The roads here, they are flooded. Several are shut down. In fact, in several parts of this area, we saw a bridge collapsed. We saw part of State Road 70 collapsed, a power line collapsed. Some folks told me it usually takes them 15 minutes to get here to this community center. Today, it took them 45 minutes. Still, though, we know there were so many people that relied on this water. I talked to one woman. She told me that her parents lost their home. They are living in their van. And it is important to note as well that it's not just the folks that came here for water today that are feeling the effects of those closures, those delays. I spoke with one woman, a first responder who is trying to get to Southwest Florida, the hardest hit area, to provide aid and relief, and she is having trouble. I'm going to tell you that story tonight at 11. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Ann, thank you so much. And of course, Sydney, rather, thank you so much. And, you know, just so many people impacted. We talk about Southwest Florida, but we can see, you know, even though Southwest Florida took the brunt of Ian's force, Tampa Bay is still obviously in danger and still dealing with devastation, especially as rivers rise and homes are threatened by floodwaters. 10 Tampa Bay's Aaron Parsegian shows you tonight how it's changing the look of neighborhoods in Hillsborough County.
The Alafaya River here in Hillsborough County reaching 18.4 feet overnight. It's not even a major flood stage, but you can see it's having a pretty major impact here in this Lithia neighborhood. The water just inches where I'm standing, but it goes out to feet and several feet as you get further down that road.
And you never know what you're going to get with either storm. You can only hope for the best.
In the days after Hurricane Ian, a canoe, paddle, and small motor is how Bruce Bujashevsky has been getting to and from his home on Coconut Cove Place.
Believe it or not, everybody that lives back here, we're all still blessed. It's good that no trees hit us and everything's pretty much high enough and out of the way.
Flooding is something that comes with the territory. Bruce says he and his neighbors, for the most part, prepared for the flood.
So I have this little deck where I put my grill, I put everything on it, and then I hoist it up in the air.
Most left before the storm.
I think I'm the only one staying back here, though. I think my other neighbors are like, eh.
Some got water inside and some saw damage, but neighbors were grateful the Alafaya didn't rise as high as it did when Hurricane Irma came through. On Saturday, power was still out, but the water began receding. The river depth is forecast to go down over the next several days.
We're not out of the water yet, but again, we're blessed to be here.
In Hillsborough County, Aaron Parsegian, 10 Tampa Bay.
And in Lithia, as you're watching us, maybe from your phone or tablet or with power on your TV, there's a neighborhood trying to do what they can to get by as they are without power. Ann Sparacco is live on Wendell Avenue near Alaska State Park tonight. And Ann, days without water, I mean, that comes with everything from air conditioning and much more. Just absolutely miserable for these people.
Courtney, definitely miserable. A lot of them are really struggling with the power outage they've been dealing with for quite a few days. They're also dealing with a lot of debris. This tree is down in this person's front yard here, but it's not so much about what we're seeing on Wendell Avenue here. It's more about what we're hearing over on this side. You can hear a buzzing sound, and what that is, those are backup generators. That is what these people are really living off of over these past few days because of lack of power. All these people down this strip, they are all without power, depending on these generators, which is why it's so noisy in this neighborhood. One neighbor says he stopped by his father-in-law's house because he heard the power went out. He's been cleaning up around the home all day, and he even had to throw everything out of the fridge. But he says he feels grateful compared to what could have happened in this area. And on the way here, we also saw a lot of trees down on the telephone pole wires. So that's just a big cleanup effort that a lot of people in the area are still trying to do. Reporting live in Lithia for 10 Tampa Bay, I'm Ann Sparacco.
All right, Ann, thank you very much. And also in Polk County, the damage there as well. 10 Tampa Bay's Angelina Salcido is in a neighborhood where people are picking up after their homes were destroyed.
From miles away, you can hear it. Work being done on Polk County homes hardest hit by Hurricane Ian.
We look around how many places that got destroyed.
At Hammock River Estates Mobile Home Park, family treasures are littered in debris. Wind gusts sent awnings flying, toppled trees onto power lines, and dragged trailers off their foundation.
Could have been worse. We have no power, we have no electricity.
Carlos Torres prayed he'd have a place to live once Ian passed. The Fort Meade Fire Department told him and his girlfriend to evacuate before the storm hit.
Evacuate. Get out of here.
He knew the big tree next to his home would come down.
The space in between here is just the length of my hand. That's it. This should not happen.
7 minutes down the road, Ian's mark continues to be seen. Gas station roofs collapsed. The Peace River overflowing out of its banks.
It's really heartbreaking seeing all the trailer homes being flooded, seeing the city is being flooded, the power's out, lights are out. Recovery, I think, is being very slow right now.
Purina Barletti, a second lieutenant with the National Guard out of Jacksonville. Her team sent to help with flooding relief. But rising water is making it difficult.
Even with our big LMTVs, we didn't want to risk going down there.
With the river expected to crest Saturday, the goal now is to get families out of harm's way. That's Carlos's next concern.
Cars halfway up. We gotta go again.
In Polk County, Angelina Salcido, 10 Tampa Bay.
Perspective, you know, you may be at home saying, oh, we just had a few limbs here and there, lost power for a little bit, and then you see communities like that just struggling and water so high for them as well. And as far away as Oregon to our own Florida counties, we have emergency workers who are leaving their communities to come here and help. 10 Tampa Bay's Brittany Moncrief spent time with first responders as they loaded up rescue equipment to help neighbors in Northport.
Serving takes dedication, whether home or away.
We feel very fortunate that we didn't feel the wrath of Hurricane Ian. Unfortunately, our neighbors down south did.
And like any good neighbor, support is always there. Saturday morning, 40 Tampa police officers and 15 firefighters loaded up to help residents in Northport.
The first 16 we called, they all responded and said yes, you know, and that was just amazing. Just know that we have the heart.
A heart so big, no one city can contain.
People raising their hand and saying, I'll go. I'll leave my family and I'll go down and put myself in harm's way to help others.
With a convoy of rescue boats, a high water rescue truck, command center, chainsaws, and generators, these first responders will help with traffic control, clean up any crime, and rescues.
My prayer is for them to have the strength to deal with whatever they see, to help the community out. Even though we're firefighters and public servants, but we also there to help. If they just need a bottle of water, we're there to help them.
So proud. I mean, they're not going to a pleasant situation right now. They are going to very adverse conditions. You know, it would be easier for them just to come to work this week, but they're not. They're shining right now.
Shining with pride for their state and service in their hearts. Brittany Moncrief, 10 Tampa Bay.
You can see them being waved off by Chief Mary O'Connor and, of course, Tampa Mayor Jane Castor as well. And as you heard the chief say, spending the week helping our community in Tampa, but of course now heading south to Northport, where they will stay for 1 week. And then when they come back here, another team will then take their place. Hurricane Ian made landfall more than 72 hours ago, and tonight in Tampa Bay, as we have told you, there are people still without power, and you were taking a look at the outage maps. According to Duke Energy, more than 190,000 customers are without power. Some of the biggest outages are in the Orlando area at this moment. And when it comes to Tampa Electric, TECO says more than 63,000 customers are without power. Florida Power and Light, which predominantly serves those in Southwest Florida and where Hurricane Ian made landfall, over 98,000 customers are without power in Charlotte County. In Lee County, 175,000. Sarasota County, more than 124,000. And in Manatee County, more than 73,000 customers. In less than 15 minutes, we are expecting to get an update from Florida Power and Light, and we will let you know what they say about power restoration efforts on 10tampabay.com and also tonight at 11 on 10 Tampa Bay. And of course, FPL, as we said, predominantly serving Southwest Florida, TECO serving our area. And Tampa Electric is sending a special unit to help in Fort Myers to provide assistance. Take a look. This is TECO's mobile command center. The unit will help crews in the field as they work to restore service in areas hit hardest by Hurricane Ian. It has a kitchen, internet, even office space.
This is a little conference room where you can have meetings, establish tactics or objectives to fix whatever incident you're involved in. It has whiteboards, it has a window, so if you want to see the outside world.
Now, TECO did not tell us how long they plan to be in Fort Myers, but they joined thousands of others from across the country trying to get lines and grids back up and running and that power on for those who need it so desperately. Now, in order to get service to Southwest Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis announced today the state is also working with SpaceX. SpaceX positioned its Starlink satellites toward the areas most impacted, and the company also donated 20 satellite receivers.
A large device, you can put it in different areas in the community that are having problems, and they can get a 13-mile radius, and they can support over 1,000 users at a given time. That will help bridge some of the connectivity issues.
And these receivers are in Lee, Charlotte, Collier, DeSoto, and Hardee counties as well. Authorities say the death toll in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian, of course one of the strongest storms to ever hit the United States, could be as high as 70 tonight. Rescuers are searching again. They spent the day today looking for survivors among the Florida homes ruined in the massive storm. Hundreds of thousands of Floridians, as we just told you, remain without power. In South Carolina, people are now out also assessing damage from Ian's strike there. CBS's Chris Hoffman is in Northport with the latest on rescue and recovery.
Searchers in Florida are combing through the ruins of homes and buildings looking for signs of life. Days after Hurricane Ian slammed into the state, storm surge poses an ongoing threat.
Now we're here surveying a lot of flood. I mean, it's really, really incredible the amount of flood that we're seeing.
It's way steep, so we're literally walking back to our house.
So far, the U.S. Coast Guard says federal, state, and local authorities have brought about 4,000 people to safety. Many were stranded on Sanibel and Captiva. Devastated barrier islands cut off after flooding destroyed the only bridge to the mainland.
Now I've lost everything. Everything, my life savings, everything, my tools, everything.
We have already started the planning efforts for what it's going to take to rebuild these communities.
Even with a couple of days of sun, many roads still look like this in the Northport area. Dangerous to drive through with water going across both lanes. With power still out for many in Florida, residents are looking for gas to power their generators.
I pulled up here yesterday, waited in line, and as soon as I got up there, they said all out.
Ian's remnants hit the Carolinas with flooding, downed trees, and damaged property on Friday. And today it continues moving north.
Chris Hoffman reporting, and I'm hearing that from so many friends in the Fort Myers area where they wait and wait and wait, and then they get up and they're told, we're out right now. But Tyler, you know, we've been watching Ian. Where is what's left of Ian at this point.
Yeah, Ian is now centered over parts of southern Virginia. You can see it right here. We call it a post-tropical cyclone, Ian, now at this point. You can just think of the remnants or the leftovers now as it's continuing to weaken, as it's moved back on shore towards the Carolinas, drifted through parts of North Carolina today, and now is heading towards parts of the mid-Atlantic. But there's really not much to it. The last advisory coming in with winds at 25 miles per hour sustained around the center, and there's not a lot of rain as a lot of dry air is starting to wrap in near the center. So here we go. We have post-tropical cyclone Ian. That's over parts of Virginia right now. Out into the Atlantic. Is there anything else you have to keep an eye on? Well, there is this disturbance that has a 70% chance of development. I don't want you to even think about that, worrying about that. It is going to stay out in the middle of the Atlantic. You can see the arrow here drifting it off to the north. So that is good news. The tropics look like they will stay out on the quiet side, except for that one disturbance that we will be tracking over the next couple of days. But that is no threat to us here in Florida. So where are we in hurricane season? Well, you can see we're past the peak in September. We have 2 months since it is now the official start of October. 2 months left, October and November, before hurricane season is finally over. You can see the trend weakens the activity down a little bit more over the next several weeks before hurricane season wraps up. Beautiful day out there right now, and really the stretch of weather, it's not going to stop anytime soon. Look at dew points right now down near 60. That feels like temperature is fantastic, sitting in the lower 80s along with that air temperature, and winds, a nice breeze out of the northwest at right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. That humidity really making things feel comfortable. Low temperatures this morning. Look at this. We had 60s across the area, even some upper 50s. For lows towards the nature coast. We haven't seen air this cool during the morning hours since the middle of May. So it's been over 140 days since we've had this cold of temperatures to start off the morning hours. You might have felt that as you stepped outside, and we'll keep feeling some 60s during the morning hours as we head throughout this week and even into the middle of next week too. We'll keep that cooler, drier air in place. Temperatures out there right now, we got a lot of lower 80s, 80 right now in St. Petersburg, 81 in Tampa, 78 right now in Sarasota. So there's our dew point, tracking it in the lower 60s, even some upper 50s. That is very comfortable for this time of year. After all summer long, we've been stuck in those dew points in the 70s, upper 60s. This is nice and refreshing. And again, it's a good time to maybe open up those windows a little bit during the morning hours, let some fresh air get into your home the next couple of days. Mostly clear skies out there right now. No rain to add to any of those river flooding concerns, so that is fantastic news. Temperatures fall throughout the 70s into the 60s for overnight lows tonight. Tomorrow morning, starting off with lots of sunshine once again. We'll see more sunshine right into the afternoon hours. High temperature is going to be in the middle 80s for tomorrow, maybe a degree or two warmer than what we saw for today. But there's all this drier air in the backside of Ian that continues to get funneled in with that breeze out of the north. That's going to hold with us for the next couple of days, and that is really going to limit our rain chances. Maybe a 10% chance for an isolated rain shower on Tuesday and then later towards next weekend. But the next couple of days, very, very spotty isolated rain chances, maybe inland seeing 1 or 2, but that humidity also stays low. Dew points in the lower 60s, some upper 50s too. So that comfortable air will be hanging in place. For tonight, we'll see temperatures in the upper 60s. Again, a dry night heading our way. The 7-day forecast also looking picture perfect, mostly sunny skies, temperatures in the middle 80s, overnight lows in the upper 60s.
A good forecast ahead of us, but you know, we are still, of course, focused on the damage from Ian, both here in our state, in our area, and in other parts of the state as well. Whether you had trees fall on your property, you had roof damage, water from flooding in your home or your car, you do need to touch base with your insurance company. If you are filing a property insurance claim, there are likely separate hurricane deductibles that you will find for your out-of-pocket expenses. Florida is one of 19 states with this deductible during a named storm. It can vary from 1 to 5% of your coverage limit. So for example, if your home is insured for $200,000 and you have a 2% hurricane deductible, you would have to cover $4,000 in repairs if your place was a total loss deemed by your insurance company. Now, Insurance Information Institute spokesman Mark Freelander says insurance adjusters are already out in those hardest hit areas trying to help customers with recovery. Even though there has been turmoil in the state's insurance market, he shared this sharper insight about the backstops to make sure your claim is covered.
One is the Florida Hurricane Catastrophe Fund. That is for claims that cannot be paid by your insurer because they don't have enough reserves. Say they didn't have enough reserves to pay all the claims they're getting. The catastrophe fund kicks in. But if your company goes insolvent, then it moves over to what's called the Florida Insurance Guarantee Association. That is established to pay claims for companies that are declared insolvent and liquidated. So either way, your claim is paid, regardless of the financial health of your company.
And if your home was damaged from rising waters, that falls under your flood insurance policy. Now, if you do not have that coverage, you can apply for a FEMA grant. Keep in mind, if anything appears or anything happens to your car, whether it's flooding or if it's a tree falling on it, you can claim that on your comprehensive car insurance. And so many in the Tampa Bay area were left with debris in their yards from Hurricane Ian. Brightside meteorologist Grant Gilmore has a hurricane hack to help you with storm cleanup.
Trees are great, they give us shade, but during a storm, they fill up our yard with limbs or even worse. I'm 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist Grant Gilmore. Here's a hurricane hack for you after the storm. Gloves, heavy duty gloves. Make sure you have them. They'll protect your hands when you're picking up all that debris. And look, we really do love our flip-flops here in Florida, but it really is best to wear sturdy, closed-toed shoes while cleaning up after the storm. You really could get hurt wearing these. And get a tarp now before they're all gone. You'll need to cover your roof if there's damage. Spray paint. You're gonna need this because you'll have to tag your home. Street signs and other landmarks might be missing after the storm, so it'll make it easier for insurance adjusters to find your home if they can see your address. Oh, and one more thing. When the power's out, your windows and your doors are open. You're really just hoping for a breeze, but bugs may get in and they bite. Now, citronella candles and bug spray will help keep the bugs away. The candle will also help give a little extra light. Just make sure you don't leave the candle unattended.
Some good information right there, and we have much more as well as these recovery efforts continue because we are here to help and answer all of those questions for you. You can simply text the word HOME to the number right there on your screen. It's 727-577-8522, and that will have information that you'll find on openings, resources, power outages, and other crucial information about recovery efforts, including debris cleanup and when that will happen in your area. Now this weekend, several Bay Area schools are working to also clean up from Ian. They are, of course, heading through the weekend to determine whether they will have classes for next week. Here's what we do know about schools that will, of course, remain closed. So right now, closed until further notice. Right there on the left side of your screen, you see Sarasota and Hardee counties. They're going to remain closed until further notice. Sarasota says it's working to fix structural damage. They have downed power lines, they have flooding, they have water and plumbing issues. Manatee County schools will remain closed on Monday as they work to fix damage and restore power. Polk County Schools is also working to restore power to more than 70 buildings. As of now, there's no decision on whether they will reopen Monday. We will let you know as soon as we find out what decision they make. Now, schools that are reopening, Hillsborough County, the district plans to resume classes on Monday. Same for right there, Pinellas, Pasco, Citrus, and Hernando County school districts. Now, another thing that you need to look out for, of course, as we are moving through the post-Ian cleanup, there's a lot happening. We told you need to reach out to your insurance company and you need to avoid scams. But another scam that you need to look for, videos that you may have seen like this one. And there's a claim that sea creatures are swimming in the surge right there, showing what appears to be a dolphin. We're still working to verify this video. The person who shot it says, again, that is actually, they say it's a shark, rather, in the streets of Fort Myers. As our team checks out this video, Casey Decker is here to verify another viral post.
During practically every big storm, people go viral, claiming or joking that they saw ocean animals swimming in the surge. We've told you before, photos like this one of a shark on a highway are fake. Well, now, after Hurricane Ian hit Florida, this video claimed to show a massive seal scooting along the sidewalk. The video has tens of thousands of retweets and more than 15 million views. So, is it real? Does this video show a seal in Florida during Hurricane Ian? Let's verify with these sources. Using RevEye, a reverse image search tool, we found this video was posted years ago, so it couldn't be from Florida right now. The video was actually taken in 2020 in a coastal town in southern Chile. It's a huge elephant seal, an animal that's native to that region. They don't typically venture inland, but this one did, and a local woman told her son to film it, according to an Argentinian news outlet that reported the story at the time. And the story has a happy ending. The Chilean Navy and local community helped the seal return to its home in the sea. So we can verify, no, this video of a seal is not from Florida during Hurricane Ian. With your Fast Fact, I'm Casey Decker.
Always working to make sure that what you see is accurate as well. And it is hard to see many of our communities destroyed and damaged. The silver lining, we are in this together. And World Central Kitchen and Metropolitan Ministries in Tampa, they partnered to prepare hot food and sandwiches for those impacted by the hurricane in the Fort Myers area. This effort is going to be needed for weeks. So if you would like to help, you can donate your money or your time. Go to metromin.org or wck.org for more information. And as people across Florida pick up the pieces left behind by Hurricane Ian, more and more people are dealing with another problem: food insecurity. More than 1 million people were dealing with food insecurity before the hurricane hit. That was according to Feeding Tampa Bay, a local nonprofit that we work with right here at 10 Tampa Bay. They now expect that number to be much worse. You can help the organization hand out food, water, and supplies to thousands in need today, something the External Affairs Officer knew was needed after seeing how many people, of course, were impacted by this catastrophic hurricane.
Hunger doesn't have a face, whether it's based on your lifestyle, your current situation, or a disaster who comes through like a hurricane, right? Hunger doesn't have a face. If you're hungry and you need food, the only way you can succeed is by having that food, and we're here to make sure it's provided.
Feeding Tampa Bay handed out food at 12 distribution sites. The organization is taking tomorrow to assess the needs of the community, and they will have sites open again next week. Now, if you are struggling with food insecurity, we have a link so you can find resources. You can visit our website, 10tampabay.com, to learn more. Thank you so much for joining us on our digital platforms. Of course, there is so much information that we need to bring you in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian in our community, as well as the communities south of us in Southwest Florida. So many impacted, and we know that you want to help. We'll be back tonight on air on 10 Tampa Bay this weekend at 11.